This is It's Not in the Syllabus podcast, the how-tos of a student beyond classroom walls. This is the podcast where you, yes you, get to learn what they don't teach you at school and ace that test called life, or at least get a passing grade and get by. It's Not in the Syllabus is a podcast brought to you by the Adventist International Institute of Advanced Studies, together with the Student Association, where we feature stories by the students and for the students. Join us as we discover life lessons you'll surely need.
Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of It's Not in the Syllabus. Here is a place where you learn things that you don't learn inside the classroom, and today we are in our series of Adventist education. Our theme of today is the impact of Adventist education on career development, stories from our alumni. And I have the privilege today to converse with two friends of mine. You know that they have studied here, but let me quickly greet them and then I will introduce them. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Very good.
I will not say their names yet. You guys know now their names. Dr. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm well.
Good.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let me briefly introduce them. You know, if I will introduce Dr. Dan, Dr. Grace, he will take the whole program. But briefly, Dr. Dan is now currently teaching the theological department in AUP, and I also know that he's taking care of the African community
Yes.
in AUP. And Dr. Grace is teaching the education department.
Yeah.
They are both AIIAS alumni. Did you graduate at the same time, or how is it? Did you
I graduated May 2022.
May 22? When did you
I
graduate?
don't know. 22? I
Yeah.
was ahead, I think.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah. But
So-
but she got a job ahead.
So they both graduated from AIIAS. They are AIIAS alumni, and they're just across the road teaching in AUP. And our conversation, our today conversation, is about the impact of Adventist education on career. Well, let's hear their stories and how things have shaped them. So don't feel
Comfortable.
feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Let me begin with this way.
Mm-hmm.
How has been your overall development? I mean, your overall work in Adventist education.
What do you mean? From
Yeah.
elementary or
No, when did you actually join the Adventist education? Maybe let's begin from there. Anybody can pick.
Wait, I can. Since the beginning, since I graduated from college,
Okay.
I started teaching as a missionary teacher in South Korea under the 1000 missionary movement. So I
Wow.
taught in South Korea for 2 years, and then coming back, I taught again in elementary school, though I am
Wow,
a
wow,
secondary teacher, and then primarily I go up in the academy,
Okay.
and then now in higher education institution.
Okay. So you've transgressed from elementary and then higher education. Pastor Dan.
yeah. Yours was about teaching, right?
Yeah.
Teaching. I thought about studying.
No, it's study.
So I was in I think around elementary.
Elementary.
I was I went to a church school. There were I think 5 of us in the class. They were still starting. And when I came home, I was number 1. My daddy said, "Man."
It was a church school.
The
Is
church
it an
school,
Adventist school?
Yeah, it was just starting.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there were a few students. We were just like 7 in the class. So the first one was number 1. My daddy said, "No." So he took me to the public school.
Public
So
school.
this is a joke. And yeah, I think I was there, around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you did your college, I understand. You did
But
your
college, I was in Adventist school.
Yeah.
Convent school, my master's and doctorate, I was in Adventist setting.
Wow. So how did it shape your professional life as you look back?
Well, primarily, I was talking about teaching in the Adventist education,
Yeah.
but primarily I did not grow up in the Adventist family.
Hmm.
So basically, I was schooled in public school,
Okay.
And I had my college in the State University.
Mm-hmm.
Before embarking into my first year in university, we were converted to Adventism.
Okay.
However, we were not so enlightened about Adventist education.
Mm.
So, since in my place, it's already a university belt, there are many universities in Cebu
What is
City.
it? Oh, Cebu.
In Cebu City. So, we did not thought of going outside Cebu for our education.
Mhm.
So, I stayed in Cebu for my education degree.
Okay.
However, after graduation, there's a time I embark into everything Adventist education, working, serving in Adventist education. So how did maybe he can answer how did Adventist education impact
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
professional person?
For me, honestly, I enjoyed during the college time.
Yeah. Oh, college. Everybody enjoy college.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how we enjoy.
I was stupid.
How we enjoy. I was, so glad that we are studying, not just to work in the world, but we are preparing ourselves for the world to come.
All right.
So during college days, I meet students around. I have a feeling that we are preparing for heaven.
Yeah.
This is my brother.
Yeah.
This is my sister.
Yeah.
We are in class. We are, talking about the world, but also talking about heaven.
Yeah.
So it gave me such a good feeling and
Okay.
hope every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, can you kindly discuss some of the stories, some of the remarkable stories from your college days, your higher education days, that it shaped who you are, and maybe those stories will include teachers that really touch your life as a student. Let me begin with Pastor Dan and then Dr. Dan.
Okay. Maybe when I began college, I decided to take theology
Okay.
to become a pastor.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I didn't want to do math and statistics. I just wanted to study the Bible. That's all. But to my surprise, is before you enroll in any course,
Yeah.
algebra and statistics.
Yeah.
it's a must.
Trigonometry.
Good enough. When I started, trigonometry was removed because many were having hard time, not just me. So they removed it, so that's good. So I took that. In my first year, I was so stressed because of so many requirements. I was doing 27 units.
Wow.
And what I remember is I always appreciated when it came to Friday. Well, I would feel that now Friday lunchtime, it's like something has ceased in the campus. Everything, all the assignments, finish one and finish, put aside. So during the week, I don't appreciate the campus.
Okay.
But on Sabbath, now I don't have to think about assignments and quiz and all that stuff. I would enjoy the Sabbath, and I think that became remarkable moments in my life in college. Another thing I enjoyed was the teachers. My teachers were more like a family, more like parents.
Correct.
In fact, that like back home, man, there's a gap with when someone's called a professor. Professor, when you pass by a professor, you have to bow down a little bit, and if you're talking, you keep quiet a little bit.
I thought
Professor.
this was just an Angolan thing.
I know some people say, you're from what country? You're from Africa.
Yeah.
They think that Africa is a country.
Yeah.
No, I don't blame them actually, because I realize we share so many things in common actually. But in my college here in the Philippines, professors were like our parents. For the first time, I saw students put their hands on a professor.
Correct.
So I also tried it. Man, so we so close, and we were like a family until now.
Yeah.
We're like our parents, and so
I think that is the beauty of Adventist education,
yes.
because it allows students to interact with professors in a friendly basis.
Yes.
I will remember a story just to connect to what you said. In the business department, we had the program in 2018, Christ Method of Management. We just launched that program, and it was very welcome, and everybody enjoyed it. And that time, Dr. Swansea was the department chair, and he said, I want to take the ABC, AIIAS Business Club out, the officers. I would like to take them out. And I was part of the officers who organized that event. But when I received an email that a professor is taking me out, I told my president, Dr. Natasha, that time, I will not go.
you will not eat.
Yeah, Because I was coming from a context, I just Dr.
Yes,
Dan
yes.
said, we have this power distance
Yes,
between
yes,
our professor.
yes,
Like if you just talk to your professor,
Yes.
it's like we're talking to. Let me put in a very fun way. We're talking to God.
Yes.
Yeah, you cannot even
Yes.
shake his hand. No. So now I'm receiving an email that I
Yes,
have to
good
go and
eat.
eat with my department chair. I said, no, please. You people go,
Go ahead.
you people go ahead. Dr. Grace, tell us.
Basically, it's also from one of my professors, the
Mm-hmm.
impact that, how did it impacted my life that time as a student. He introduced about appreciative inquiry in our class.
Mm.
And I was so impressed.
Yeah.
And so later on in my dissertation, I also use appreciative inquiry as a research design.
Yeah.
And one thing that really captures me is when he said, positivity should be your life's philosophy.
Mm.
And it's not only applicable, being appreciative not only with your dissertation,
Yeah.
but it should be running into your bloodstream.
Yeah.
That should be your life. That's how you approach life. That's one thing that I really like about having my education in the Adventist education.
All right.
That's another, way that professors and students, we seems like we don't have that gap.
Yeah.
We are all
Mm-hmm.
equal in the eyes of God. Something like that.
Good. But we differ when it comes to grade.
And just to add on, I also realized that during the week, everybody's busy in the offices. You cannot see the president. You cannot see, you have to go through the secretary.
Yeah.
I saw that when I came to a big university like AUP.
Yeah.
Man, you cannot just see the president.
Uh-huh.
I tell you, you cannot. Even anybody has to go to the secretary. If the secretary can solve your problem,
Yeah.
you don't need to see.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to see each other during the week.
Yeah.
But on Sabbath,
Yeah.
we're in one room.
Yeah. Sabbath school.
You are sitting next to the president. You can shake hands. You can. So I enjoyed Sabbath.
Yeah.
Sabbath time on Adventist campus.
Yeah.
It's something very special.
Correct. I actually joined Adventist education for my masters. I never studied until master's level in Adventist education, and it was here in AIIAS. I remember we went for mission trip in one of the islands as a business department, and we did our activity. We painted the church. We gave some funds, and then we also offer services. And then on Sunday, we said we must have fun. It was a beach, and students and faculty swimming in the same place.
Yes.
And
Some water.
sometime I'll confess the same water. and me and my professor, we said, okay, let's pull this student to the water. And we went to grab the student, we pull her to the water. I look at them and say, this will never.
Yeah. Still, there's some kind of fear, right? You can't remember.
Let me just
Yeah.
go with the flow. So I wanted to ask now, how did Adventist education impacted your career? If it wasn't for Adventist education, will you be the person you are today? Anybody can take it as you think of it.
As for myself, first of all, I appreciate the Adventist Church being a family.
Correct.
We are a family, so that wherever I am, we are connected.
Correct.
We are connected. So when I finished here, somebody from MVC, this was Pastor Spero was my teacher before. He was finishing,
Wow.
and he said, Dan, when I'm done, prepare. I'm going to call you as soon as I arrive. And I also saw the importance of connection, being connected. Networking.
Correct.
Because someone to call you, he needs to know you, who you are in your background. So he's a Filipino. I am from the other division, from this division, but it doesn't matter. We are a world church. We are the same mission. So I think being an Adventist and being this kind of family, I can work anywhere in the world.
Correct.
I've been at AIIAS now. You have friends in whatever country, US. Now you can go on Facebook and you can chat at the same time.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Correct.
And people call here and there. So I think I see that kind of connectionness as a family that has helped me to be here and there without caring what division you are working.
yeah.
We're just a world church with the
A world
same mission.
family, same mission. I like that. Dr. Grace.
Well, primarily that's what we call linkages. You see, it's the talk of the higher education institution these days about the internationalization of education. And basically, in the Adventist education, before the concept of internationalization in the higher education curriculum,
Yeah.
we are actually and primarily practicing internationalization already. So in the context of Adventist education, the term there is network and linkages. You know, if not of the Adventist education, specifically here in AIIAS, I will not be able to meet
Yeah.
wonderful people like you. So primarily, I'll just be in my local setting
Yeah.
with Filipino classmates, but with the Adventist education, you connect people in different parts of the globe,
Correct.
and you do research together. You know, you travel to other places, and talking about traveling,
Yeah.
you know, if you are in the Adventist education, when you go to that place, you don't know anyone,
Yeah.
but you just find an educational institution,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
an Adventist church,
Yeah.
Yes.
and you're okay.
You're okay.
No.
You're actually pretty much at home. So what will be some of the recommendations that you will give to Adventist leaders when it comes to career development in Adventist education? What should be done to enhance it? If they're doing a good job, it's okay, but what do you think should be done when it comes to career development? Is the Adventist church preparing individuals in a good way, preparing professional employees in a good way, or it should be some things must be done?
I could not speak.
This is actually a very
Yeah.
personal question.
Yes, but let's say there are leaders who are really working on it, and so for others it must be a sphere to improve. But primarily, what I say is that as leaders, we need to design a program for the employees of the organization. For if I'll talk about education,
Yeah.
the part of education department, so leaders would create a program that there will be a specific program for upgrading of the teachers. Why upgrading? Because it's through upgrading we widen our horizon of understanding of many things in
Correct.
the concept of education, teaching, how we deal with our students, the education and the law, and all those issues in management. You see? Because primarily as a leader, like for example, when you become a principal, there is no such thing as Bachelor of Science in Principalship. No. You just being a teacher, and then you'll be appointed as a principal, and then
That's it.
you work the work of the principal, primarily no training yet, just
Yeah.
embark into it and learn and swim and you know survive with it. So I believe one thing is to create a program that would have funding to send our teachers to school and upgrade, because when our teachers are schooled, they will be enjoy teaching because they will be equipped with the knowledge, with the skills, and you know in the context of AIIAS, they'll be meeting a lot of people. You know, it's a very holistic learning when you come to Adventist education.
Wonderful.
That's
wonderful.
one thing.
Thank you, Dr. Dan.
Yeah, maybe I think creating more opportunities and preparing preparing young people specifically for what they're going to do, and then finding ways how they can use their talent. Because like some finish and they don't know what to do, where
Yeah.
to go. I think we can look into how we can create more job opportunities in some places. When young people are going up,
Yeah.
they become a threat. They become a threat. Say, yes, this young man. How old are you?
You need to be
You
specific.
finish your you finish your doctorate? Huh? You finish your doctorate? Yeah.
And how old are you again?
How old are you?
That's why it's something to do with the career path planning.
Yeah.
You know, I've observed in the Philippines we have young people who are in positions. There's some places where people are not threatened to bring in young. Maybe in our like in my context back home, maybe we're not so much yet into this. I mean, God can use the Daniels and all that, but I think we need to also recognize gifts in
Correct.
soccer. In soccer in the academy.
Yeah.
They recognize the talent from childhood. It's 12 years up. That boy will become a Maradona someday. What?
Yeah.
Right away they begin training him, giving him special skills. This is why we have the Ethos and all those people. And in the end, not just their name, the name of the whole country
Goes up.
It goes up. So I think we need to look into that. In my country, the Pentecostal church creates opportunities for its church members. They have a special agency to take their members to America. My mother said, "Man, I'll become Pentecostal." Because I think the church does not care about us now. So I think we can create more intentionally. Help. We have so much talented, and we scout them, not just on academic ways, and find ways how to help them and to create opportunities and push them up. I think.
I like what you said. You said there should be, but what you said is career path. After graduation, where those guys or those young people will go after graduation. And also, aside from career path, maybe I would like to bring the element of mentorship. You are training theologians now, future pastors, and what you are training them is an overview of theology in your particular field, which is mission. Have you ever thought of taking students and say, guys, select students, guys, listen, I see your line of thought from your paper, from your discussions. I think you are good in systematic. I think you are good in biblical study. I think you are good in this. Listen, from now on, let's have a club where we can begin discussing things. So by the time you go to the field, you have your line of thought. I'm thinking of a systematic guy, I'm thinking of a biblical study guy, and I'm thinking of maybe a missionary guy. So you begin to train them. Maybe those students will then decide to go for higher education. You know, some of us, we came to higher education, we all we want to do is master. And we ask her, which master?
Master of nine.
Master. But then we decided to go for PhD. There was nobody who told us, hey, man, I think you can do better in management. I think you can do better in accounting and so forth. So maybe we are, as I would say, we shouldn't be afraid of mentoring the next generation. And our mentorship, I would say this very clear, it shouldn't be based on preferences, colors, and who we like, who we
and the
dislike.
connection, and
who maybe we're preparing you because we see your future. You can be somewhere in GC, and if you're in GC, you know how this political language begins to emerge among us. But we should develop individual when we say, okay, this is a potential for the church, and I don't care where is it from, but I want to groom that person. So I think that should be the language.
I guess I had something to add with that, because one thing that we really profoundly discuss is the mentorship. And it's possible also that, leaders mentor this person. However, when it comes to, say, put the next succession, it might be that the person you mentored may not be there, because it's a matter of not really an appointment according to your qualifications, but it's according to maybe during the meeting, during the committee, it's during voting. So somehow we are in the 21st century already, community. So I see that we also review and check our policies when it comes to, management, leadership,
I like that
mentoring, and succession planning.
I think Anasa will be happy to hear about that. She's writing about succession planning. Maybe I wanna ask a question. As professional employees of Adventist education, what legacy will you like to give to leave out to your student? How will your student be known you for, Dr. Dan?
Oh man, I want my students to know that Pastor Dan cared for us.
Amen.
He,
And I want you to look at that camera.
yes. Which one? This one or? I want my students to know that Pastor Dan cared for us.
Mm-hmm.
He loved us, and he gave his very, very best.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want my students, because I'm realizing I'm just starting to teach.
Yeah.
Maybe I still have a lot to learn from Mom Grace. She has been in the land for so long, but
Yeah.
maybe because I come from a pastoral field, but I've realized this is about relationship.
Relational.
Jesus never invited people that he did not mingle with yet.
Yeah.
So in the class, I think I can come and talk everything I have. They are seated. There's a gap, a wall.
Yeah.
I just do my job.
Yeah.
But I think it's, for me, I see it's not enough.
Yeah,
So I want to connect with my students. So but when I finish the class, we are friends.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that sense, I can easily influence them,
Mm-hmm.
teach them. Because my teaching them does not only end our time in the class.
Correct.
They will be my students forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wherever they go, they'll be. So I want them to know that I love them, I care for them,
Mm-hmm.
because I bring Jesus who loves and who cares
Wonderful.
and who cares for them. That's
I like that. Yeah, caring for students and having a relationship with,
Yes,
with
with
student, a
yeah.
professional relationship that is. Dr. Grace.
Primarily, that's really the thing of being a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Once, our students will not care to study and learn from our class unless they know that the teacher cared about them. Another thing also that I'd like to point is, specifically during the classroom setting, one thing that I'd like to have it is like, even though the class is already 3 hours,
Yeah.
it seems like 10 minutes or 30 minutes because the students are enjoying the class.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one important concept that I learned also, that the statement from Dr. Prema, die empty. So that means whatever I know, even from what I garner here from my graduate school, from my doctorate degree, specifically in teaching strategies, because I'm into teaching in education. So it also, so I said, I learned this from my doctorate degree, but now you're still in undergrad. I'm giving this to you. Everything that I learned from my graduate school, I wanted to pour this to you so that such knowledge will be multiplied. So I wanted that they be able to somehow imitate that learning is fun. And when they talk about your name, I wanted to enroll in her class.
Yeah.
I wanted to join her class. I wanted to learn from her.
your work is also being secured.
Not really.
Yeah, if no one enrolls in your class, you have no. Where
Yes.
the comes from.
No, the thing is, there are times that it's such. It's very difficult. She gives difficult assignment, but even though it's difficult, because that's what I've got also. You enrolled in Dr. De Guzman. There are a lot of things to do.
Requirements.
But I mean, students do research. Before they enroll, they first do investigation.
How is that
Of
professor?
course.
Yeah. How is
Yeah.
it? And they talk.
Yeah.
How is it? Man, try.
The thing is, I've heard that. When I first came to AUP, the students said, it's as if the teacher is treating us like we are master students, because apart from the daily class, task, we have also something in the iStudy or the Moodle.
Yeah,
In
Moodle.
so it's like a graduate students. There's something like they will, although there are so much to learn, they will find it really engaging.
Wonderful.
Something like
When you are looking for classes and we saw the name, or we see the names of professors, we're like, is there a second option? I remember one class, I think we were together. I will not say the name of the class, neither the professor of that class, but it was one of the most difficult class I ever had here. I hate math, but math, statistics, I was cool. But that class, and I remember the professor made a mistake to ask us, why do you want to be here?
and then you're answered.
Well, I had no option but that. Okay, let's Dan answer it. You remember?
Yes.
So there was no option. We couldn't take that class with anybody else.
Yeah.
Even if you go next year, you will meet this.
There's no other salvation.
But I said, no, man, you guys go ahead. I was staying. And in fact, for my PhD level, my PhD study, is the only class I have been. Because I was really detached
Yes,
from the class. All I want is to finish. I don't care of what I will have. But I said, maybe since a PhD cannot take B minus, so I said, let me at least.
Nah, I know why you're strong, because all things work together.
So this is what happened. So you want to be known as someone okay. You want to be known as someone who really teach students in a very loving and share with them. Last, as we finish, will you recommend Adventist education? This is our last question.
Of course.
Yeah. Why will you recommend Adventist education as we are wrapping up our conversation?
Adventist education is rooted in the philosophy of the work of education, the work of redemption are one.
Amen.
And that taking Adventist education is not only to equip our students with the knowledge needed for the work after school, but it's preparing students for eternity as well. So why Adventist education? It's a holistic approach to education. Why Adventist education? Because it's a holistic approach to learning. Students learn and develop physically, mentally, we say intellectually, socially, and much more spiritually. Isn't it our desire? As parents, it's the desire of our hearts to lead our children to build characters, to build characters for eternity, for heaven. So Adventist education offered all these aspects of learning. So it's a holistic approach to education. Moreover, it's not only about learning these things, but it's establishing a very intimate relationship with Jesus Christ.
Amen. I like that.
And much more. In Adventist education, students are nurtured in terms of leadership, social skills, communication, service learning.
Amen. Yeah. Dr. Dan.
Yeah, Dr. Grace has said it all, but I just want to say that there is a person that God created us to be. And that is where Adventist education comes in. It helps you to be the person that God created you to be, that you have a purpose that is beyond making money and having a job. Or Adventist education leads you to discover God's purpose for your life, which brings true joy, true happiness beyond the understanding of this world.
Amen. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. It's actually amazing taking 2 doctorates in this room. You know, it takes a lot of effort.
2, almost 3, right?
Just 2
candidates.
and we have our conversation on the idea of Adventist education, impact of Adventist education on career development, the stories of AIIAS alumni, and we are so glad to have Dr. Dan and Dr. Grace all the way from AUP to come and share with us something that we don't learn inside the classroom. And this is what makes It's Not in the Syllabus your place to learn and to listen every Thursday in the AIIAS Media YouTube channel. Stick around. Until then, God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.